What an awesome song. I love it. Well, thank you for braving the storm, making it here today. Very exciting. We have Hector came all the way down from Waukegan today. So that's awesome. He's braved the storm. So, hey, kind of shoots down any excuses we have right there. A friend of mine from Wisconsin came down. He's checking out the church here. Called me on Friday and he said, "Hey, is there going to be any snow?" And I said, I don't think so. Come on down. Oh, what a great week. We had a blast at the banquet, did we not? We had some great singing. We have a talented group. It's amazing. You had Deb on sax. That was amazing. I love that. Rebecca and Tyler singing. Very cool. Jasmine doing her rap thing. Polish the treasure kind of thing. Jillian and Henry, the cartoon and his monologue there. Maria won my heart last night. Yeah, she sang a Beatles song. I love it. Beatles White Album, gotta love it. Jesse on the harp thing. That was some sort of South American, Mexican harp.
Awesome.
Yeah, a lot of great stuff. Staff's video. Let it go. Let it go. That was awesome. Then the Dawsons doing their thing. Very cool. Super Bowl Sunday. I love Super Bowl parties. They're a blast. Before we get into it, I want to thank everybody who helped the Millers move this week. They're on their way to San Fran. I hope this didn't bother them at all. Can't believe it's February already. January gone. Great month. We had 7 baptisms. Gotta love that. Now, anytime you do the Super Bowl's Sunday, you got to have something to do the theme with for that, in the sermon. So today we're going to talk about winning. Winning, being a winner. Now, there's a lot of analogies you can use. You got the discipline, the physical and mental discipline, take stamina, suffering, team spirit, all that kind of stuff. Few fun facts. 8 million pounds of guacamole is consumed on Super Bowl Sunday. 8 million pounds. Tells you a little bit about our culture. 14,500 tons of chips are eaten with that guacamole. Tons. The 10 most watched television programs in American history, and 9 of them are Super Bowls. Yeah. More than 100 million people worldwide watch the Super Bowl each year. One 30-second commercial aired during the Super Bowl costs at least $2,800,000 for 30 seconds. So if you want to try that, awesome. Good luck with that. All right, now, which are you? Seahawks? You want Seahawks to win? Now, I figured out there's 4 types of people. You got the Seahawks people, you got the Patriots, right? Then you got the people who could care less. They don't even know who's playing. One of the sisters came out, who's playing today? That kind of thing. Then you got the people who don't want either team to win. How does that happen? Second coming, world catastrophe, I don't know. A lot of tremendous time, energy, money, all that put into winning, especially the Super Bowl. And for us, we got to look at, okay, what does it take to be a winner? Now, one of the things you don't want to do as a team is to go through a cycle where you're rebuilding. What does that mean? You're losing and you're trying to get it back going. And a lot of things can happen to stop it year from year. You got injury, you've got coaches changing, players changing, cutting people due to money, stuff like that. There's all these things happen. And the challenge is to keep winning year after year. How do you do it? Because you got all these challenges, all these problems, and they say the best way to solve a problem is not to have one to begin with. All right? So you got to plan ahead of time so you don't have that problem. In the kingdom, it's the same way. You know, we've got to plan ahead to take care of the challenges of the church. And we've got to win. Now, the top teams that always win, they found a formula for it. And the formula is to continue to bring in the new people and train and raise them up. Some people get into getting other players from other teams to try to bolster holes in the problem. Well, if you're training people right, and you got the young people coming in, they're fresh, they're new, their legs are good. All right? It's the older people. Yeah. They got worn down, they're beat up, you know, and they want more money. And it's like, gone. And what they do is when people leave, these teams that make successful, they're prepared for the next person coming up. And see, for the kingdom, it's the same way. We send out people, all right, to win the world. And we got people like Dustin Mandel left. We had 19 people leave last year, sending them out on teams. We've got to be prepared to fill those gaps. Why? Because we need to continue to win. We cannot afford not to win because it means people's salvation. Amen? Right. Let's go to 1 Corinthians chapter 9, and we're going to look at Paul. Now, Paul, I would say, was a winner. Jesus was a winner. Question, are we? And what are we trying to win?
Come on. That's it.
Well, what was Paul trying to win? Well, you will soon find out. Verse 19, 1 Corinthians 9:19. Though I am free and belong to no man, I make myself a slave to everyone to win as many as possible. To the Jews, I became like a Jew to win the Jews. To those under the law, I became like one under the law, though I myself am not under the law, so as to win those under the law. To those not having the law, I became like one not having the law, though I am not free from God's law, but am under Christ's law, so as to win those not having the law. To the weak, I became weak to win the weak. I become all things to all men, so that by all possible means I might save some. I do this for the sake of the gospel, that I may share in its blessings. Do you not know that in a race all the runners run, but only one gets the prize? Run in such a way as to get the prize. Everyone who competes in games goes into strict training. They do it to get a crown that will not last. But we do it to get a crown that will last forever. Therefore, I do not run like a man running aimlessly. I do not fight like a man beating the air. No, I beat my body and make it my slave, so that after I have preached to others, I myself will not be disqualified for the prize. Now, as you read this, do you really question what Paul was about?
Nope.
What was he trying to win?
Souls.
He's trying to win souls. Do people question what you are about? Can they look at your life and wonder, why are you here? What's the big deal? Now you look at this passage, how many times does he talk about the word win? I make myself a slave to everyone to win as many as possible. I become like a Jew to win the Jews. Later on, so as to win those under the law, so as to win those not having a law. So the weak became weak to win the weak. And you look at his spirit, he wants to win. The question is that our spirit? Do we want to win? For a lot of us, the true question is, do you have the same purpose? And that's point number one, purpose. Why was Paul so aggressive? Because that was why he existed. The question is, why are you here? Why are you here on earth? What is your purpose?
Help us out.
And sometimes you get people who want to join the church for what they can get out of the church. I want to find a nice Christian woman. Yeah. This is a good church, friendly. There should be some good Christian women.
Come on.
I want to find a nice Christian man.
Come on.
Lead me righteously. That's what I want. I need help with my kids. My kids, help me, Lord. Oh, these guys got a great kids' kingdom. I know what I'll do. I'll join this church. No. That cannot be.
Right.
I had a couple tell me a few years ago, they said, our children are our God. It's like, whoa. And they say, we know it's sin, but that's where we're at. Well, what happens if you make your children God? And a lot of people do. They're consumed. They got to buy them all the stuff. They got to bring them to all the soccer and all this. It's not wrong, but they can't be God because you will not treat them the way you need to. If your wife is your God, now you got real problems. If your husband, do we need to talk? Okay, amen. Who disciples them? If your husband's God, there's a problem. You don't treat each other the way you're supposed. You don't love each other the way you're supposed to.
No.
But when the Lord is God, his dreams become your dreams. And what happens is you share your faith and you become well-rounded because you can't call someone to repentance if you're not. And if you're trying to win a family over to God and your marriage stinks, that ain't going to happen. And so we learn to change to win as many as possible. That was Paul said, I'm going to become whatever I need to become to win as many as possible.
That's right.
Barb and I are officially empty nesters. Yeah. Our daughter ended up going to school. She's in South Africa on an internship there. Life is different. So does that mean life is over for us? No. But in many marriages it is. Kids leave, now they've got to face each other. Before the kids were a distraction, now you got to deal with the marriage. Life has just begun for Barb and I. Hey, man. Come on. What about retiring? What about retiring in the kingdom? No? Never? I just see Colin, Kip. You know, Kip, we've decided we're going to retire. Thank you very much. Is that going to happen? No. You know, I don't share my faith anymore. I'm retired. What's that? It's a lifestyle. 80 years old. Chris is going to be helping me up here. We're going to be coming up. You know, Barb and I will be doing marriage retreats because we've been married 65 years instead. She'll be helping me find the podium. She turning my turning my Bible upside. It's upside down. Just trying to quote it because I can't read it. Where's your life at? Are you here to win as many as possible? It's a strong possibility that someday I may be just shot to death. Yeah, and you too. There's a lot of crazies out there. And a lot of people will hate us for preaching the truth. At the Crown of Thorns meeting, Kip said that. He said, you know, I'm starting to get death threats. This is your future. And I've shared that with you. But does that stuff stop you from winning people? Is your purpose to win as many as possible? You know, this week I was talking to Mahogany. Put her on the spot here. And Maria was with us, and we were talking about, you know, the signs on the road, so many deaths in a year. And Mahogany says, I cry when I hear about people dying, you know. And I said, you must cry a lot. Is that your heart? I said, why do you keep coming to church? Because I hurt for people. That needs to be all of us.
Come on.
Amen.
Right.
You know, this week I went to Mike Brooks' Bible Talk, Barb and I. Never a dull moment.
Come on.
You guys got to check that out. It was awesome. But afterwards, there was a guy sitting, you know, in one of the chairs. We had a Panera. And I went over and started talking to him. And he said, yeah, I heard what you guys were doing. And I said, what are you about? I said, what is your purpose? And he says, I'm here to have more. I said, wow, more. He said, I want to be more. And I think, you know, for a lot of people, that's true. Don't you want to be more? But is it more for self or is it more for God? If you're doing it for God, you will become more well-rounded in every way and you'll be freer. But I said, do you go to a church? And he says, no, I'm a 5%er.
Wow.
Have you guys ever heard of that? I hadn't either. So I talked to him at quite length and I looked it up. Let me read this to you. The 5% nation, sometimes referred to as NOGE, or the nation of gods and earth, or the 5%ers, is an American organization founded in 1964 in Harlem section of the borough of Manhattan, New York City, by a former member of the Nation of Islam named Clarence 13X. He changed his name and is later known as Allah the Father. Clarence 13X, a former student of Malcolm X, left the Nation of Islam after a theological dispute with the nation's leaders over the nature of an identity of God. Specifically, Clarence 13X denied that nation's biracial founder, W. Fard Muhammad, was Allah, and instead taught that the black man was himself God personified. Members of the group call themselves Allah's 5%ers, which reflect the concept that 10% of the people of the world know the truth of existence. And those elites and agents opt to keep 85% of the world in ignorance and under their controlling thumb. The remaining 5% are those who know the truth and are determined to enlighten the rest. Initially, the nation of gods and earths, as is known today, was viewed as little more than an offshoot of the Nation of Islam. While the nation of gods and earths has been characterized as an organization, an institution, religion, or even a gang, representatives of the nation teach that Islam is a natural or mathematical way of living. And then they got names for every cities. Like Harlem is Mecca, Brooklyn, Medina, Detroit is D-Mecca, Chicago is C-Medina, Queens is the desert. I don't know what that's all about. The nation of gods and earths teaches that Asiatic black people, non-white, are the original people of the planet Earth, and therefore they are the fathers, parentheses, gods, and mothers, parentheses, earths, of civilization. The nation teaches that supreme mathematics and supreme alphabet, a set of principles created by Allah, is the key to understanding humankind's relationship to the universe. The nation does not believe in a mystery God, but instead teaches that the Asiatic black man is God, and his proper name is Allah, the Arabic word for God. I was thinking, wow, how did that happen? But here's the thing. You can pretty much start up any religion you want. And why is he in it? Because he wants more. And it really kind of took me back. I thought, wow, you know, we have a purpose.
Yeah.
And that was point number one, purpose. Sorry, I didn't tell you that. Maybe I did. But what encouraged me too is I'm having this in-depth talk and he's going through the whole mathematical thing and I'm like, I don't get this. And the alphabet, and he says A, what does that stand for? Allah. Okay, Allah. But there's this connection. And I thought, well, you know, the mind of man can go all sorts of places. Let's have the mind of God.
Right.
Because we got to see it the way God sees it. And as I talked to his life, it was like all this pain and stuff coming out. So then Kofi walks up. Come on, Kofi. And you know what he says? What is your purpose? I was like, dude, that's awesome. But the thing is, purpose is huge for people. People live purposeless lives.
Yeah.
And therefore, there's no hope. Do we wonder what Paul's purpose was? No.
No.
Do people wonder about you? And you got to have a conviction that there's a truth. And the truth is the scriptures. If you're a disciple today, the Bible needs to be your standard. It needs to be the truth. And if it is, that means people are lost.
Yeah. Absolutely.
That's true. Come on, Jack.
And it's our job to go make disciples of all nations.
Come on.
Where would you have been if somebody didn't have a conviction that it was their purpose to share their faith with you? Point number 2, slave to everyone.
Oh, praise God.
Paul says, listen, though I am free and belong to no man, I make myself a slave to everyone. It means it is my decision. Is it ours? Is it my decision to say, listen, I'm going to allow myself to be enslaved to win some? That's pretty intense. But that was his spirit. That's what it takes to be a winner. All things to all men. What does that mean? It means whatever it takes. I want to go into your world to save you. That's amazing. And I think about all the crazy things I've done over the years. The good, the bad, the ugly, to try to go into people's worlds. I've had to learn to weightlift. People get into that, okay, that's my world now. You know, jogging, that's my world. Yeah. Fishing, golfing, art shows. That's how I spent time with Joe Chipetta.
Yeah.
We'd go to art shows together. What are you willing to do? Football, baseball, video games, winter camping. Yeah, I did that. Spend time with their kids. Now, the guy who studied the Bible with me asked me what I was into. And at that time, I was into boxing. And he said, I'll box you. Now, the guy was 6'7". No, 6'6", 6'6". And I said, okay, let's do it. And he did. It was awesome. Long arms, hard to reach. What do you want to do? Do you want to win? Are you willing to go another? And you know, the great thing is you learn a lot of stuff you'd normally not know. You know, the one guy I went fishing with, okay, one time I went fishing with this guy, and, you know, I don't fish. I don't know really a lot to do. I like it, but it's not my passion, okay? And the weird thing is whenever I go fishing, I always catch really big fish. I don't know what it is. Ask my wife. Frustrates everybody. How do I get the hook out? You know, that kind of thing. And this guy, I'm studying the Bible with him, and it's in Milwaukee, and there's the breakwater, and we're out there, and there's like 100 people fishing. And I said, let's go fishing. He said, you're not going to catch anything. I said, oh, so let's just do it. And I just want to talk to the guy. So we go out there, and he puts a little thing on there, and he whips it out there. Bam! He hits this huge fish immediately. He's like freaking out. And everybody comes there. And I said, don't be afraid. From now on, you'll catch men. That was awesome. He actually became a disciple, went on staff, the whole bit. So it was awesome. Are you a team player? Are you willing to work with people that you don't know them? Throwing in a new Bible talk. Are you willing to do whatever it takes to be a team player?
Come on. That's great.
You know, the Great Commission wasn't just for the apostles. Why? Because it would die out. It would have stopped when they died. but it's for us today, and it's a command.
Yeah, sure.
Anybody can share their faith. Isn't it amazing? You get a new disciple, they're fired up, they bring 3 or 4 visitors. Do they know what they're doing? No idea what they're doing. Anybody can share their faith. This is what I believe, come and see. And really, it's as simple as that. If the heart's there, it happens. It happens. And then you get these guys that are fearless. Mike Thomas. You get nervous when you're sharing with him. All right. Right? I guess Ryan been kind of a beast on campus there. Jose is going after it. Everybody has a role. I know the campuses are starting to crank up, right? And I know you've got this goal, everybody share with 20 people a day or whatever like that. Initially, it's hard to do, but once you get into it, you get into it. Start getting all these numbers, then you got a problem. How do I get with all these people? What do I do? It's a great problem to have. Remember when you didn't have people to study with? Everybody can do it. Right. Are you a team player? Are you going to do the things that'll help bring people in to change their life? When I was younger, played on this football team, right? And I was a offensive guard. And every so often I'd play defense, all right, because I'm a team player, right? And so I got pretty good at this. Well, then all of a sudden, in one game, the outside linebacker gets nailed, knocked out. Then the backup guy, knocked out. They grab me. Jay, we need you to go there and take control of that spot. I said, I have no idea what they do. And he says, if they're running at you, tackle them. Okay? If they throw the ball, try to stop them or catch it yourself. That is the direction I got. So now if you're on the other team, what do you think? Go after Jay. The 2 guys are out. This guy has no idea what he's doing. And I didn't. And they threw their full force at me. I was the weak link, and they went after the jugular. And I got trashed, mowed down, crunched. Next day I had bruises. Oh, cleat marks on my legs. What are you willing to do to win? Team player. Some of the things that we're asked to do aren't so fun in the kingdom. Sometimes we got to have those hard talks. And sometimes we're going to have to be thrown in situations we don't know what we're doing. And that's just faith. But it's the spirit of I want to win.
Yes. Come on.
And if I fail, I'm going to learn from my failure. And I'm going to become better. And I'm going to become more so that I can win.
Come on.
And that needs to be our spirit. 2015, whatever it takes. Point number 3, strict training. Oh, we love that.
Amen.
Come on.
Verse 24, do you know that in a race, all the runners run, but only one gets the prize? Run in such a way as to get the prize. Everyone who competes in the games goes into strict training. Paul understood it's hard work. To get to the Super Bowl, you got to train. And you got to train with people. That's consistent. So it's like clockwork.
Come on.
But our spirit needs to be, I want to learn more. I want to be more. And he said, I beat my body and I make it a slave. Why? To win as many as possible. It's amazing what people will do to get degrees.
Yes.
What suffering and energy they will go through to do it. Strict training. Strict training. Yesterday, Stefania Heard, where are you? Over there. She got, she's able to, medical school at UIC. So, Now, she's pretty fired up about it, right? All right, well, what does that mean for her later? Oh, baby. A lot of coffee. Yeah. Look at 2 Corinthians chapter 8.
Come on, Jay.
What kind of training are you open to learn how to rescue people? 2 Corinthians chapter 8, verse 7. You've heard this before. Paul's writing this to church in Corinth. Verse 7, he says, "But just as you excel in everything, in faith and speech and knowledge and complete earnestness and in your love for us, see that you also excel in this grace of giving." All right. The expectation here was that you excel. It's assumed that you're going to grow. That's what a disciple does. Are you further along than you were a year ago? Or are you still stuck?
Come on. Good question.
And next year at this time, will you become more? And that takes strict training. It's not an easy thing to do. How have you grown? I was talking to this brother who was a Bible talk leader, is not anymore. And I said, why not? And he said, well, I just don't want to go to this place or that place, and I just don't feel like this. And there's another brother there, and I said to him, can he lead a Bible talk? He said, absolutely. And it bothered me. I said, why aren't you doing it now? Because you don't feel like it? Is that the heart of Paul?
Come on.
Beat my body, make it a slave? The guy got flogged and, I just don't feel like it. That's unacceptable.
Come on.
You're a tool of God's and you're unwilling to be used by him? You have the knowledge that a lot of these young disciples don't have, and you're not going to do it?
Come on.
Wow, that's scary to me.
Come on.
We got to hate that kind of thinking.
Come on.
The other thing is, we need a trainer. If we're going to be in training, we got to know where we're going. We got to get direction. We got to get advice how to become more. And you don't go to the people that are going to tell you what you want to hear, right? No, you don't have to work out. Take it. It'll come naturally. God will just tell me. The Spirit will direct me. Yeah, amen. But he's going to direct you exactly what we're talking about. Strict training. And it takes a lot of humility to do that. I was very encouraged this week also. I was asked to jump in a study that they're trying to get this gal over the hump. There's some challenges in her life and so on and so forth. So Barb and I went there and we studied with, and there was like 4 other sisters sitting there not saying anything. You know what they were doing? They were taking notes. I was like, wow, this is awesome. Why are they taking notes?
Come on.
They want to learn. Here's an opportunity. I want to learn how to do this.
Yeah.
And I said, anybody got anything to say? Hey, man. Barb goes, I do. Okay, man. Are you excelling? We all need to be committed to excelling.
Yes.
For me, my goal is to grow the church. Not just here, but worldwide.
Yes.
Come on.
Come on.
For me to grow this church, I need to get you to grow. I need to get you to have a conviction to grow. Because I can't do it all on my own. Barb and I can't do that. But the question is, how committed are you to it? Someday, Barb and I won't be here. Yeah, Siberia. That was in the staff video. Is Jesus' dream your dream? You may be called to go somewhere too.
Come on.
Are you ready to go? Is your spirit, I want to go. We're an international church. There are so many benefits to that. You know, Dustin and Amanda moved to San Francisco. That was hard. The relationships, all that. But here's the thing, the way you got to look at it. You've got people now you know in San Fran on a deeper level. And if ever you want to visit, be awesome. Free. Who said that? Yeah. But it's also an opportunity for you to start having a new relationship. And that's the beauty of the kingdom.
Amen.
And so God designs us to not only learn their strengths, but now you got another person you can learn their strength. That's how this works. That's how you become well-rounded. You know, every year we have the special contribution. Oh, amen. Last year the goal was you combine the two, it was 24 times. That was amazing, and we did it. It was a lot of hard work. A lot of hard work. Strict training? Yeah. Tremendous amount of hard work to do it, but we did it, right? This year they're asking for only 20 times.
Come on.
But they're asking us for something else. No, they didn't ask for people yet. Although we've already sent out 3 this year. Send back the Millers. They're asking us to see whatever we can give ahead of time. All right. In other words, whoever can give before, because of the needs. All right. And I'm going to share some of the needs so you guys are informed. But basically, our goal is we moved it to June 7th for the 20 times. And that way, you know, let's knock this thing, get it done. All right. But I thought what we could do, because they need it early, I thought let's at the end of each month, and actually they said this is what they're doing. At the end of each month, February, March, April, just take a double contribution. That way it's not so overwhelming. You know, if you give $30 a week, then it's $60. It's not 20 times. You know what I mean? And that way it'll help out. And sometimes people get burned out with all the tagging and all that. It's tough to tag today.
Oh, come on. Sold out.
You sold out. Okay, Anthony, we'll have you lead that thing. Okay. And anybody who can give their full amount, do it earlier. But let me read to you. Now, do you guys get the good news email? Yeah. If you don't get this, you got to get it. And we're going to assign somebody to go. People registered for this because this is amazing what's going on worldwide. Every week they do this. Okay, now here's why they want us to do it early. All right. This is from Gordons Bay, South Africa. Greetings from Gordons Bay, South Africa, which is an hour from Cape Town, which is where my daughter just ended up going to school, by the way. Greetings from Gordons Bay, South Africa. God is surely stirring the hearts of men in this generation as we excited to officially join the Sold Out movement. Our first official midweek service went excellently after my return from the LA workshop. All the disciples were grateful to hear they are now a part of God's worldwide movement. It goes on and on and on. Now, they're a remnant group. All right. We haven't sent anybody there. They're just shooting from the hip. Now, I tried to find out how many people this is. I don't know. But we don't have the people or the money to send them there. So they're sending the Smellies there for a few weeks early to deal with that. But they can't stay. They can't do it. Or let me read you another one. Newsflash.
Come on.
Jerry Karoma, the minister of the new Freetown, Sierra Leone ICC Remnant Group. My wife and I, together with our small fellowship, are so grateful to God as we have been longing to be connected to the ICC for more spiritual growth and fruitful Christian operations ever since we began reading many of your websites. We welcomed our change of name from our present Gospel Christian Church, Sierra Leone, to the Freetown International Christian Church. We are presently meeting in a primary school hall for all of our activities. The government banned public gatherings due to the Ebola outbreak. So we are not having Bible talks at the moment that would have been done on Fridays in disciples' homes. It is now a crime to gather in a place from 5 people and above. Even when we evangelize, we go out in 2 or 3 persons, but that's what Jesus said to do. To conclude, I have a very great passion to meet the needy in this part of Africa. Thank you for your partnership. Amadou Santura. Greetings from the Ivory Coast. Okay, now the Abidjan Church has started this year with 40-day fasting campaign for a year of uncommon harvest. God has graciously already begun to answer these prayers. So far, since the beginning of January, we've had weekly baptisms. Of note, one of our shepherding couples' daughter was baptized. Perhaps even more encouragingly was a baptism of a former governor. Yeah. We are looking forward to hosting the African Missions Conference. They have 190 people there. We have nobody that we've sent there. We can't afford to do it, and we don't have the people to do it.
Come on, bro.
All right. In Kinshasa, last year they had 190 people. Now they have 260 people. We've sent no one there. We can't do it. Can't afford it. All right. Alexis Turgu. The fields are ripe for harvest in Port-au-Prince, Haiti. Were baptized this week. 3 more were baptized on December 28th. Today, amazing souls were added through baptism. One is a former Baptist pastor and his right-hand guy.
Come on.
Greetings from your brothers. Oh, just by the way, Haiti started with 1 person 2 years ago. 5 churches now. We have sent no one there. Greetings from Kenya. In spite of the hardship and persecution, the new year has gotten off to a great start as the church had 6 baptisms for the month of January. And they got pictures of them baptizing people in this muddy trench.
Come on, bro. It's all right.
The disciples are very excited and inspired by what God has been doing and to be part of the movement of churches committed to evangelizing the world in our generation. Please keep the church in Bosnia in your prayers. Okay, Moscow. Today was their inaugural service. They had over 200. There's 50 of them, 200 in attendance. They had a blizzard, and they had 6 restorations, 2 baptisms on the first service. All right, now here's the challenging thing, and I found this out later from Kip. Kip sent a text this morning, and he said basically what's happened is Oleg is Russian. Okay, his wife Halyana is Ukrainian. Now, if you don't read the paper, they're at war with each other. So they tried to get into the Ukraine to get documentation for their kids for schooling and all sorts of stuff. Ran into all sorts of barriers, and that stuff cost money. Okay, I'm just going to close with one more thing. You got South America, you got all these things going here, Pacific Rim. Oh, the Philippines, we're sending somebody there this summer. They got 60 people, I think, at this time. And it says in 98 days, they're counting the days that we're getting there. Kyle and Joel Bartholomew are going, and their goal is to have 24 more editions before they get there. Boy, then we have Chicago here. It's awesome. Maria Franklin, by the way, writes that up every week, so that's awesome. You guys got to check out these pictures in here. Okay. This is what Kip ends up. Oh, by the way, I didn't know this. This is from DC. This is Ron Harding writing this. Near and dear to my heart was the first miracle of 2015, which began in 2014. A sister in Chicago directed some engaged friends of hers to check out the church in DC because they were looking for someone to marry them. Immediately they began studying the Bible. Amen to that. They moved out of their apartments because they were living together, and they were baptized into Christ. What a victory for not only DC, but the bond between us and the Chicago church. We give God all the glory. Now, who was that? Chanel. Nobody tells me these things. Okay, this is what Kip says at the end. Going to all nations is going to take a radical sold-out commitment. This became all the more apparent as I received a recent email about our brother and sister in Saudi Arabia. Now, the names that they're using are aliases. They can't let people know their name. Omar made note of some very interesting developments in November in 2014 in Saudi Arabia. Anyone caught with a Bible in their possession in public will be beheaded. Wow. Omar stated that they have to use egg cartons to line the windows of their homes so they will not be heard and avoid detection from the outside worlds. Then he goes into the Ukrainian thing. But here's the question. All right. Would you rather send money and have somebody else go to Saudi Arabia, or are you willing to go? What would you do?
Come on, bro.
We got to realize there's a lot of work to be done. Amen. And hopefully I got to get you to feel what these people feel, to move your heart, to do what you got to do to give. Is it a lot of work? Yes. And if your heart's not there, then don't give. All right? It's not acceptable to the Lord. But we got to understand we are in a battle and we're going to win it. And hopefully that's your spirit to win it. You know, the other thing that I wanted to share is, why do I do it? Why do I do it? And I think about what I was before I became a disciple. I was a mess. It's like I said last week, I wasn't a mess. I was the mess. Drugs, drinking, sexual immorality. I was a mess. And people got in and helped me and continue to help me for 30 years. And I would not be married today if people didn't get in my face and get me to change. But it took sacrifice, not just financially, but time and energy to get me there. I have 3 amazing daughters. You know, I went into the dental office this week, and the woman goes, "Your daughters are amazing." I said, "Yeah, I know." She said, no, they are. They would not be that way if people didn't get in there and help me with them. And I'm so grateful that people got in there and loved them and rescued them. My daughters aren't going to talk to me like they will to you, especially when they're in sin. But people got in there, and therefore I will be eternally grateful. And you ask me, am I going to give? Absolutely. How much? That's my attitude. Because I don't want to just win my daughters. I want to win as many as possible. My middle daughter is in Cape Town, Africa. Do you know how I felt when I read about this remnant group an hour away? I was like, who else is in that group? I immediately started texting people. Michael Kirshner, I don't know. Ask Anthony or Andrew Smelly. He's going. Typing him up. Chris Broom. Who's there? I want to get people there. Do you know anybody else around the world? We got to win as many as possible. But the other thing is, I think about you. I think how you guys have been rescued. And every Sunday when we hear a communion message, it is heartbreaking to hear what people have gone through, the scarring. And if people didn't sacrifice, like we always say, this church wouldn't be here. Giving my money is the least I can do. It's the least. Question is, I'm invested. Are you?
Come on.
I want to win. Do you? I want to win Chicago. I want to win Illinois. I want to win the U.S. I want to win the world. Do you?
Yes.
I'm going to close with a challenge. The challenge is, I want you to ask yourself and talk about it this week. What do you need to change to win? I'm going to give you a little hint here. It takes a conviction about purpose. It takes the heart of willing to being a slave to everyone. It takes strict training. And it may take 10 years. It may take 50 years, 100 years. But let us begin.
Come on, bro.